Are we all set? Very good. Good morning. Thank you, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and welcome to our final December meeting, final meeting of the year. We'd like to start our meeting with Sheriff Allred leading us in the pledge, and we don't have a prayer, but we certainly are prayerful for and saddened by Sheriff Mark Lamb and his loss of his son and grandchild, and that certainly, PJ, we extend our sympathies to you as a friend, and if you'll let his family know that we are concerned here. Go ahead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item of business is from the County Assessor's Office County Treasurer's Office. Thank you.
We have to approve the minutes.
I'm just thinking about.
Approve the minutes.
Okay. And after you're done, we'll go ahead and go with the minutes. I'm having a hard time getting some traction here. No, you please do. Please proceed.
Good morning. I have a couple of items this morning from the Treasurer's Office. The first item is a request to waive interest on parcel 104-25029 per Arizona Revised Statutes 42-18-053C. And it's just a reminder, this was some legislation that was enacted a couple of years ago. The board can approve waiving interest on parcels for homeowners who pay off their mortgage. And because of a learning curve of paying their taxes through their mortgage for 30 plus years, there's a learning curve of how taxes work. And so this is an interest waiver that they can apply for on their first payment after they pay off their mortgage, until they get into the habit of receiving those bills and paying the mortgage. It is not a waiver of any kind of taxes, it is just the interest itself. And so this homeowner has requested that on their parcel.
Very good. Any discussion? I note that it was $43 and change, is that correct?
That's correct.
No discussion here.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move that we waive the interest on parcel 104-25029.
And I will second that.
Make that unanimous. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you. The second item is approve the issuance of the deeds. We had our tax deed sale on December 12th, last Monday. We sold 8 properties. These are taxes that go through deed sale that are 7 years or more behind, that go up for auction, and we had there's a minimum bid amount for the amount of taxes and interest and fees that are due on these properties, and we had 8 properties that did sell, and so these are the deeds for those 8 properties.
Very good. Any discussion?
No. Chairman, I'll move that we approve the issuance of the deeds based on the results of the December 2022 tax deed sale.
Second. Thank
you, Supervisors. And I'll make that unanimous. Thank you for your work on that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Before we have Josh come up, we're going to go ahead and loop back, and I'll look for any discussion and a motion for the approval of the minutes from our last board meeting and work session.
So moved.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Okay, thanks, Josh.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, and Mr. Welker. Today the court is asking for approval of an amendment to an interagency agreement between Arizona Department of Child Safety, the Arizona Supreme Court, Administrative Office of the Courts, and Graham County. This is an agreement that we entered in a few years ago for Title 4E funding. This is money that is essentially given in a way as a reimbursement for funds that are expended on on attorney representation for children and parents in dependency cases. And it's been a good thing. It's good to be able to gain that funding. It helps with and supplements some of the costs that we have, and then we can also use it to expand efforts to strive to prevent dependencies and things and separation of child and parent. There were some amendments and changes that were made on the, I think, on the federal and state levels, and so this just trickled down to getting this agreement changed and updated. I don't know a lot of specifics about it, nor are they really in our hands per se. It's more on the state and federal level, but just would appreciate help to be able to get it going. And I'll try to answer any questions if I can.
Very good. Well, there was a body of information in the packet, so we're somewhat aware of it. Any discussion on this item?
None.
No, Chairman, I'll move that we approve the amendment to the interagency agreement between the Department of Child Safety and the Arizona Supreme Court, the Administrative Office of the Courts, and Graham County.
Second.
Thank you, Supervisor Howard and Supervisor Smith. I'll make that unanimous, and that motion carries.
Thank
you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have our health director for several items.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Brian.
You're correct. We have 4 items. And on the first item, as we request the board to approve utilizing the balance of $44,178.13 from Fund 264, the United Way COVID grant, and up to $4,647 from Fund 014 Emergency Management Fund to help pay for the installation of a whole building backup generator at the health department.
Okay, this is a second iteration at this, right?
Yes.
Is that is this going to be a mobile on tires generator, or is it a stationary generator?
This is a stationary. On the fiscal year 22-23 budget, we originally had this project allocated for funds on a COVID ideal grant to pay for this generator, because they would pay for a generator. Then we later found out they would only pay for a portable generator, not a stationary generator. So we contacted the United Way and to see if we could use leftover COVID funding for the stationary generator. And the one thing that we are concerned with is at any time we have $50,000 or $60,000 worth of vaccine in the health department, and that would help. And a lot of that is COVID vaccine.
Is this? Do you know if this is going to be natural gas or diesel powered?
It'll tap into the gas main that's right in front of the health department. Yes.
Any other discussion?
None here.
No.
Make a motion to approve and utilize the balance of $44,178.13 from Fund Number 264, United Way COVID, and up to $44,647 from Fund 014 Emergency Management Fund for the installation of the backup generator for the health department.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you.
Okay. Secondly, it's requested the board approve a 5-year Proposition 201 Smoke-Free Arizona IGA for $59,549. This grant delegates our health department to educate the public, businesses, and residents of Arizona smoke-free laws.
Very good. Any discussion?
I have one question, Brian.
Uh-huh.
It really doesn't pertain to this, but I need to figure out the answer. On smoking, what is the law in front of a business?
20 feet from the front door.
20 feet from the front door. Okay, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion. If no other discussion.
Well, let me, Chairman.
Yes,
Hey,
please.
so what is that, $59,000 for 5 years, and it is also to investigate complaints and assess fees, fines, and penalties for those who are in violation. Have we ever done that? Do we do that?
We have not assessed fees or fines. We do investigate complaints, and then when there is a complaint form online with Arizona Smoke Free, and we do receive most of our complaints through that portal. And once there is a complaint, we investigate, and it's 9 times out of 10, it's normally an employee that was smoking within the 20-foot limit in the front of the business. And it's usually a cold day, so they don't want to get too far away from the front door. And so, and then they comply, and then we're fine. But we've, if it's an ongoing, excuse me, an issue, then we can possibly fine that business. But as of today, we have not fined or assessed fees to anyone.
And who does that work for us to educate public places, businesses, and residents of Arizona smoke-free laws?
Our environmental health team with Gavin and Stacy.
What does that work look like?
I'm sorry.
What does that work look like in practicality?
When Gavin and Stacy, when they do go out on their normal inspections that they get with the businesses, and just to make sure that they do have the proper signage and the educational materials that they may need, and it's just a very quick type thing. It's just, less than a minute per business.
All right, Chairman, I'll move that we, let me get back to my agenda. Move that we approve the 5-year Proposition 201 smoke-free Arizona IGA for $59,549 annually.
Brian, just one more quick question on
Yes,
the signage. You said, is there an official sign from the health department, or is it up to the businesses to put up their own signs?
There is a sign that is required to be placed up in the front of your business, and it's provided by the state.
Okay.
And if you do need one, just let us know, and we will get you one.
Okay.
And there's no fee or anything for it.
Okay,
And it's usually real clear. It says smoke-free Arizona.
Okay.
Every business is supposed to have one in the very front of there.
Okay. I'll go ahead and second that motion.
Thank you for your questions. And before I make that unanimous, which I'll make unanimous, but I do have a follow-up question, and that is, does the signage, is that also emphasize of vaping, no vaping?
Vaping is considered smoking.
Right, but does it also say specifically exclude vaping? No smoking or vaping?
I don't know.
Because some people.
Good question.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know.
Because some people, well, I'm not smoking, I'm just vaping.
Right. But whether that signage does state
Okay.
vaping or tobacco use or what have you, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, that motion carries. On to the next one. Thank you.
Okay.
And thank your team.
Yes. And it's requested the board approve an agreement between the Graham County Health Department and the Arizona Partnership for Immunization, which is TAPI, to coordinate contracts for our health department for services billing to major private and public insurance companies. For their services, TAPI will receive 40% of all reimbursements. And basically, they do all of the legwork for us. For the 40%, we'll receive the 60%. And the reason that we're looking into this is that currently we do not have the ability to charge health insurance companies for our vaccinations, and and we, at this point, we only serve the uninsured, underinsured, and access clients. With TAPI, we would be able to bill insurance companies. The purpose for this is not to be in competition with our clinics or, but to vaccinate more children. There's a group of kids out there, or students, who have insurance that for one reason or another that their parents are not able to get them to their primary care physicians to be vaccinated. And when we do a vaccination clinic at the schools, we only vaccinate the uninsured, the access, and underinsured. And so by this, we would be able to vaccinate those group of kids that just aren't, their parents just aren't able to get them to their primary care physicians to be vaccinated. So it's not like we're trying to be in competition. There's just a group of kids out there that aren't getting vaccinated, and we just want to pick them up. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. Discussion?
None here.
Chairman, I'll move that we approve the agreement with the Arizona Partnership for Immunization Coordinated Agreements for Public Health Services, billing the major private and public insurance companies.
Thank you.
I will second that.
Okay, and now that that motion's been made and seconded, I do have a discussion item. It's, in essence, it's passed, so it's moot that I would ask, but because we have a majority. But the couple, is this something that other counties, is this typical? 40% seems like a lot for administrative, but are all the other counties doing this?
Most of the counties are. Your larger health departments have their own folks, their internal folks that are billing.
Right.
Where the problem comes in is with the smaller health departments that we just don't have that ability. The 40%, I ask that same question with that 40%, but there's a lot of work that TAPI is doing on our behalf. And so that 40% does seem like a lot, but they are doing a lot. And we're figuring that the 60% that we're getting, it's 60% that we wouldn't have had to begin with. And
Okay.
And then also we're just we would just like to see how this works first, and to see if this goes according to plan.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure or certain that there was enough between the cost of the vaccine that you pay and the recoverable, that there was enough of a margin so that you're not consistently losing money, you know, by if you're not, you know, if it's close, and then you're paying 40% of your cost, then you could be, yes.
We are getting reimbursed for any vaccine cost. So it's 40%, it's gonna be, we're getting 60% plus reimbursement for our vaccine costs. So we're not having to do that.
And earlier this year, we received a United Way grant.
Okay.
Or seed money that for $20,000 that would pay for the upfront vaccine.
Okay, so if you issue the vaccine, TAPI bills and doesn't recover, then then that we're actually on the hook for the vaccine cost. Is that correct? If there's no recovery, if they don't give us money for if that insured person, for some reason insurance isn't good, then we're just out the cost of the vaccine and our overhead.
Right.
So,
right.
But so the assumption that we're going to get recovered for every vaccine we give is really not correct. We're only recovering what what Tappy's able to go ahead and bill for,
Bill and receive,
successfully
right.
bill for.
Correct.
So, and it's still profitable? Are we doing this at a loss?
No, I don't believe that we're going to be doing this at a
Okay.
loss.
Well, and Mr. Chairman, we've never done it. So
Right.
this is a one-year contract. I think it's a great way to see if it
Okay.
is gonna work. We're gonna capture that population that otherwise we haven't, or at least that's the goal. So if this doesn't work, again, the vaccines have mainly been paid for already
Yes.
through
Mhm.
grants, so we're not gonna lose money off those. The in-house nurses, we have capacity to do this project, and it's already a sunk cost, so we're not gonna be paying more for overhead or nurses. So it's in my opinion, it's a very low-risk proposal and can only be good for the community, really.
Very good. Well, and then they will pay you, on this one, on page 3, it talks about total reimbursable rate for the vaccine, which is set by law or by the insurance companies, less the costs associated with each vaccine. And I just, the gray area for me is can you add your overhead costs, or is that just basically your acquisition costs?
Right. There's what they do pay. It's a set fee
Okay, gotcha.
per vaccine or per vaccination, depending on what the vaccine is.
Okay. Well, again, it's a moot point because Supervisor Howard and Smith have already approved it, so it's passed, and so we'll move on. But
Well, we
I
haven't
hope
approved it.
it
We have a
succeeds.
first and a second, but, yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So I'll make, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but it is kind of a pilot program, so it is a little newer. And as Mr. Welker mentioned, that this is a one-year contract, and we're just gonna, we're hoping for the best on this one.
And Tappy is the only, it's a sole source case. I mean, they're the only ones in the state doing it. Is that correct?
Right, there's, I'm not for sure whether they're the only ones that they're doing it in the state, but they're contracted with ADHS, and they work hand in hand with ADHS.
Very good. Okay, next item.
Okay, and then finally, to propose the board approve an agreement between, yes.
We didn't get
Oh, I'm sorry.
clarification. Was that unanimous? Did you vote up?
Unanimous,
or
yes, I
okay,
did.
okay.
I approved it.
And it's proposed the board approve an agreement between the Graham County Sheriff's Office, the Health Department, and Community Medical Services to provide medication-assisted treatment, or MAT services, and counseling to detained pregnant women suffering from opioid use disorder, and continued medication-assisted treatment and counseling to qualified inmates. And what I'd also like to mention on this, that we've had a lot of help from Gene Ruff, from our attorney's office on this particular contract. And I believe after this, this agenda item was submitted, that there was an update on the contract, and there's a clause that was added, and if I'm wrong, Gene, please step in. And what was added is that the existing contract as of today, it will no longer be valid and will be replaced by this contract.
Any discussion?
No.
Couple questions.
Yes.
Since it's now, we're now required to provide this, and it is a convenience because we had been sending women to Maricopa County and they said no longer to receive their medication-assisted treatment. My question is, and so it's required, what if CMS leaves our area? Then are we, because currently it's a no cost, they're being reimbursed for their services, no cost to the county. Is there a scenario in the future where it could be a significant cost to the county?
Not that I know of. I do know that there is another provider here in our area,
Awakenings, right?
and that if CMS does leave, that we will be able to approach them. But it just seems as if there's will always be some kind of a clinic
Sure.
providing MAT services out there in most communities.
And with the, since there is another entity that could provide the services, even though it's a professional service. If I understand, we can go ahead and enter into agreement without a competitive bid for professional service. But was there any consideration given to the other service in town? I mean, are we going to
Right.
hear people complaining that they were not given an opportunity to participate?
Well, CMS has a history of providing mat services to county detention centers. And so that's why we ended up going with CMS.
Okay. Thank you. That's all my questions. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agreement with the Community Medical Services to provide medication assistant treatment and counseling to detained pregnant women suffering opioid use, and continue medication assistant treatment counseling to qualified detained individuals.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Well done. Okay, an opportunity to discuss what we've done, summary of our current events and our activities the last couple of weeks that in representing the county. I'll start with you, County Manager Welker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just an update on a few projects. We've had a lot of activity out at the fairgrounds. Our insurance company, ASIP, hired a contractor to rebuild that burned down structure, as you're aware. And the shade structure is up and complete. They're going to be installing the lights this week. And as long as everything goes well, the playground equipment is supposed to also show up this week and begin installing. And they're still shooting as a goal to finish this project by the end of the month. So that's positive news, and we hope to see that still progressing. We are working on the transition with our Justice of the Peace Corps. We've been over in Pima quite a bit. Matt and his crew have moving furniture over and bringing over equipment and even stuff like bulletproof glass, taking those from the facility and bringing it over. We've been working with Vernon Batty and the town of Pima, and they're really happy with everything and are pleased with how we're going to leave the building, which is much better than we found it several years ago. So they're anxious to get in there, but they're also being patient. I let them know it won't be on January 1st, handing over the key. We have some remodeling to do on our side, and they were perfectly okay with that. So we'll have a couple months to get everything out of there and transition, and we're working on that. We're also in the process of finalizing plans for a small remodel over there to create an extra space for their clerks and front desk, and also expand the bench a little bit. So we'll be hopefully going out to bid in the next week or so, or at least requesting quotes for that project. We're in the process of gathering quotes for the fans out at the fairgrounds. We'll be installing 4 fans in Exhibit Building 4 and also at the grandstands. And then lastly, just a huge thank you to all the departments that helped with the light parade float. We had about 14 volunteers helping with that float for about 3 different days, 4-hour stretches. So we had a lot of man hours that went into that, and it showed really well. We were able to, I think, tie for first place. So that went very well, and thank you. There's nothing better than a volunteer. And I know not everyone just had 12 hours of their time to give. It created extra work for those that helped, and we really appreciate the willingness and effort that went into that. Merry Christmas to everyone. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Smith.
I'll just echo what Dustin said and thank everyone for making the float. Makes for a great event in downtown Safford, something I'm passionate about, and so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Howard.
I guess we'll just pound the light parade. The donuts and treats were pretty good too, weren't they, Dustin?
Yeah. Thank you, Supervisor, for
But,
feeding us while we worked. It was
but
nice.
The light parade was the biggest we've ever had. I believe we had 49 floats, and they weren't just unthoughtful floats. People put a lot of work into them, entertained the citizens of the valley very well. A lot of comments. It was a great parade. Also, I attended the Drug Coalition monthly meeting and the Gila Valley Irrigation District meeting. And then on the 14th, I had the opportunity to go to the luncheon at EAC for the Ricardo Panada, who is the diplomat from Mexico, celebrating 200 years of diplomatic relationships with the United States. And then also Saturday, every year I have this little tradition to go caroling with my family. I dress up as Santa Claus and we go door to door. And I found it really interesting. Each year it gets a little bit tougher because the way things are, people won't open their door to even to see Santa Claus. They see you in the ring, and or they look out their window and they think you're a burglar or something. So I just thought that was really interesting. Probably about 15% of the people open their doors to see Santa Claus and listen to the caroling. But I see it more and more every year that people don't want to open their doors to. It's just the day age we live in. It's very interesting. And then last week I had a bit of good news. I got a call from our new representative Juan Siscamani, and he asked me to be on his advisory committee. It'll be a nonpartisan committee from every aspect of the political world, but he's going to have 12 people on this advisory committee, and I'm very excited to be able to serve with him on that. With that, everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, and especially your greetings. Over the last 2 weeks, that started out Tuesday morning following our Board of Supervisors had an opportunity to travel to San Carlos. Actually, it was to the casino arena for the inauguration of the chair and vice chair who retained their seats, as well as 2 new members of the tribal council and 2 other members who retained. So it was a nice event, longer than I'd like to have stayed, but it was important to be there for the county, and notably Gila County was not there, so it was good that Graham County was represented. There was a conference that morning I took in the parking lot waiting for the inauguration. They had a pre-partnering, a planning meeting for the shoulder widening projects, safety projects, so that was interesting and good to hear their coordination. On Thursday, we had our elected officials department meeting, and was well attended and very well done. Generally very good news. Then there was had a board hearing with one of the commissions I serve on, and a couple of Christmas parties, different organizations, city council meeting on the Monday the 12th, and Historical Society, planning meetings for the Wreaths Across America, and met with Consul Pineda along with Trey and Dustin, and they, along with the Southeast Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, they're proposing a rodeo to bring in a rodeo here, which would be almost like an exhibition of charros, cowboys, and the typical vaquero rodeo. It looks like we would have facilities and little else cost. That would be but that would be something for the community, and that we're in the very early planning stages. But that was nice that they would express that interest and that fellowship. Later that day, there was a board meeting for the Eastern Counties organization, and then a coalition of Arizona and New Mexico counties. I attended both of them remotely. One was in Phoenix, the other in Albuquerque, and then the following day, Board of County Supervisors Association meeting, And then on Saturday, a real choice experience. There's a group of 15 people from the different, the two legions and the VFW, and they decided that Graham County was going to have a Wreaths Across America, which is a nationwide effort to decorate the graves of veterans. 33 cemeteries in Graham County, 1,600, they can tell, 1,600 deceased veterans are buried. They had the funding contributions to decorate 1,100 of those 1,600 veterans' graves with a very nice wreath, and did that at no cost to the community. They said that they could not get permission for the other county, for not the counties, but the other cemeteries. There were some private cemeteries they couldn't get permission for, but they did a remarkable job, and they really put Graham County on the map, because usually it's national cemeteries where this is done, veteran cemeteries or large cemeteries, and we were fortunate to have them doing that here. So that's my report, and Merry Christmas again to all. Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, you, when you brought up the inauguration over on the, over in San Carlos, it just reminded me, I just want to let you know on January 3rd in our next meeting, we'll be swearing in our court officials that won the elections. It'll be Judge Palmer, Judge Peterson, and Heidi. So we will have that next week. We'll do a short reception like we've done in the past, and
Okay.
that'll be at our next meeting. Just wanted to announce
Okay,
that.
thank you. Good to know. Okay, we have a need to approve the demands and handwritten warrants.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you, and I'll make that unanimous. And now we have one person at least present. Do we have anyone online for call to the public? Okay. Miss Nancy Jean Welker, she's our wonderful friend from the South, is here.
Well, I haven't had a chance to come and be with you until now, and I wanted to thank you for your support of Sunzia. And I think you know that last month we got a 5-0 vote in favor of the project from the ACC. And we definitely could not have done that without your support. And it means so much to us after so many years of working on the project. So we just wanted to give you a great big thank you. And to let you know that my mother, who's usually with me, has had a change of residency. She's living in Mesa in a assisted living, but I'm still here. So I'll kind of be going between both places. But I'm still here, and I'll still be working on the project. And we will now be on another project now called Rio Soul, and you'll hear more about that. And we will continue to be in this, your community, your county. We're here. One thing I love about the companies I work for is their hearts are in the right place, I believe. And that's one reason I do work for them, is because we want to see good things happen. You know, of course we're here to make money. You wouldn't be in business if you weren't here to make money. But we want to share with you all and hope that we can do good things here and in the other communities, that our line can be a blessing to you all too. So if you need anything, I'm still here. Give me a call. If you have any questions or need something, let me know, and we'll be here.
You're one of our very best friends and most gracious, and we would invite you to tell your mother that she was missed, that you've been inseparable for so long that it's hard to think that she's somewhere, but I know that she's being cared for, very well cared for. So, and one other comment in that, we're all pleased to it'll be such a great thing for Graham County. We're pleased to support that. You made it a lot easier. I wasn't able to travel that day but as I understood, Supervisor Smith traveled down
Yes.
all the way to Phoenix, and you know the uncertainty. It could have been an all-day sucker there in front of the Arizona Corporation Commission, but I would commend Supervisor Smith for his travels and taking one for the team and being there to support. And thank you very, very much.
Well, I can tell you that you were well represented by Supervisor Smith, and he is a star
Yes.
as far as all of us are concerned. He really does a good job. And
Agreed. So we
Thank you.
continue to wish you well.
I appreciate that, and we got to be here for Mary Main Street, which I absolutely love, and we had planned to have a float in the light parade, but we just had some setbacks, people having some health issues in their families and stuff, so next year we'll be there, and we're gonna be a contender for prizes, because we wanna do a really good job.
Well, just keep, even though they've changed one of the power transmission lines to DC, keep twisting arms for the Willow substation in Graham County.
Believe me, you've got a supporter there, and they get tired of hearing me at the company, but I'm gonna keep talking, okay?
Okay, good.
So,
Thank you for your
all.
support for the county. You guys are A1, and again, I echoed it for Danny's expertise on this subject. He took the time to go all the way down there and represent us the way he did, so thank you, Danny, very much, and thank you very much for what you do.
Well, my family roots go back to the 1800s here, so this is an area I love. And I got so tickled because Cindy, who I work with, brought her family. She brought her husband and 2 kids and her mother-in-law, and we gave out light wands to the kids and other people at the Mary Main Street. And Cindy turned to me at one point and said, I see why part of your heart is here.
Thank you.
So I don't know, the feeling that you all have here, other people feel. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bless you. And again, say hi to Mom for us. Okay, next we have some bids to open. Annual bids for culvert pipe, chips, petroleum products, emulsified asphalt, grader blades, aggregate base, signpost, cold mix. In the past, and I may, if you can give us a little guidance, if you might be willing to do so. In the past, we've gone through this list of item by item for some of these have like 30 bid items on competitive bids, and we were wondering if we could video and make a video document, because I can't imagine the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors with their thousands of contracts would take a half a day to read every detail on a bid opening. So even though we're a small county and have more time, have fewer bids, I was just wondering if there's a way to streamline the process. So with that as the purpose, our first item is for cover material chips. Is there just one bid?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and it appears we don't have any for the very first one, which is culvert pipe.
Okay,
So this would be, I believe, for the 05 chips.
I'm gonna share I'm gonna give this to Supervisor Smith to open, and thank you. I'll go ahead and let our county manager read the this is a single bid, so I'll let him read these, entering them into the record.
This is for bid number 2023-05 for chips. This is from,
I believe CKC.
I'm not seeing where that says that.
We'll get on the
Oh,
envelope.
the envelope, okay. This is from CKC Construction Materials. This is for the, hold on. All right, here we go. For the ADOT chip, $52.23 per ton. For the new gram chip, $26.65 per ton.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and motion on this item. Do you want to do that, or shall we? Can we do them as an aggregate at the end of them? Because we're not going to award any today. We're going to refer these to staff for review for compliance and to make sure that the bidders are responsible.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think that'd be appropriate. To
Okay,
do them
very
all
good.
at the end.
Okay, next we have petroleum products. Two bidders.
This first bidder is for Synergy Petroleum.
All these the same.
First item, motor oil, 0W20, $19.64 per gallon. Under the synthetic, for 5W30, $5.23 a gallon. For the Max Pro, $19.64 a gallon. For the Phillips 66 Shield, for 1540 heavyweight diesel, $16.75 a gallon. For the Max Pro, for the Phillips 66, $19.97 per gallon, and $3.71 per pound for the Phillips 66 multi-purpose gear lube. For Triton synthetic trans oil, $6.82 a pound. For Triton synthetic gear lube 75 weight 140, $6.82 per pound. Transmission heavy oil, $19.42 a pound. For 30 weight. For 50 weight, $19.42. For transmission fluid, $23.51. For the alternate transmission fluid, $20.63. For the grease moly bulk 30-gallon drum, $6.42 per pound. For a 35 pound, for 120, $6.09. For the 400 pound, $5.76. For the extreme pressure grease cartridges, $5.63 per tube. And that's all for Synergy. This bid also for petroleum products is from Kins and Leslie Distribution Company. For 0 weight 20, 729. For 5W30, that's per barrel, 737 per barrel. For 1540 heavyweight duty diesel, 714 barrel on the synthetic. On the other synthetic, 716. For gear lubricant, 75 weight, 90 synthetic, says 75032-16 and 75232-16. No bids on several items. For transmission fluid, 314B. For the other transmission, 315B. Several no bids after that.
Okay, you're done with that?
Yep.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read this next one. Emulsified asphalt, it appears that we have one bidder, Hucker and Evans Asphalt from Mesa, Arizona. The proposal is for a series of emulsified asphalts that we use in fogging and chip sealing. And the price per ton for CRS2 their price is $871.58, including tax and transport. CRS 2P, which has a polymer in it, $917.48. There's no bid on what they call the pass oil, which is a rejuvenating oil. Price per ton for another type of specialized emulsified asphalt is CQS FSR 1-1, including taxes and transport $556, CQS LM 1-1, or 1-to-1 is actually the ratio. It's $597.28 per ton. Minimum order is 24 tons. Fees for short loads is $120 per ton, and the material spreader hourly rate is $385 if utilized.
These are all
Okay.
Grader blades.
And I do have a correction. It does appear that we do have an annual culvert pipe bid from Charlie Hintz Ferguson.
Thank you.
So if you'll open that and then,
Grader blades.
okay, Greater Blades. Did you read through these?
Did I read
Yeah,
through them?
do you want to present them?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Because you already opened them and scanned them, so it makes sense.
Okay.
I haven't done this. Here's the signs, Paul.
Go ahead.
All right, our next group of bids is the annual Grader Blades, bid number 2023-12. We have the one bid from ESCO, and with a total bid of $177.29. We have another bid from HEM, Heavy Equipment Machinery, with a total bid for each blade there's a lot of notes on here, but I think I can ascertain that it's I don't know, $3,218.15, but that's a pack of blades, and I'm not sure how many is in that.
Different units.
The next bidder here for annual grader blades, again, the price per blade, $144, total bid $15,566.40. Sorry, this is from Volk Manufacturing Company. And our next bidder is Empire Southwest. Price for each blade, $130.78. Total bid, $14,268.10. Next bidder is Black Cat, I think is the name of it. No, it's called Wear Parts and Equipment. Price per blade, $163.89. Total bid, $2,138.90. Next bidder is, oh, that was, okay. This is just the envelope for the last one, sorry. All right.
Thank you, Supervisor, well done. Okay.
Culverts.
You've got the culvert
This
pipe.
is for the culverts from Ferguson Waterworks. These are all 16 gauge for 8-inch round, $6.78 a foot, 12-inch round, $10.24 a foot, 18-inch round, $19.70. These are all per foot. 24-inch round, $32.61. 24-inch squash, no bid. 30-inch round, $44.26. 30-inch squash, no bid. 36-inch round, $58.67. No bid on 36-inch squash. And 48-inch round, 14 gauge, $108.08 a foot. all of this at a tax rate of 8.6%.
Very good. Supervisor Howard.
On the AB from CKC, it's 1173 per ton at plant pickup, and the cubic yards per ton, I think that figure says 57 cents is what I read it as. And then
I think it's 0.57.
0.57,
Yeah.
yeah, 0.57. In cost per ton on Safford, Thatcher, Pima, no bid. Cost per ton, Fort Grant, Bonita, Klondike, others, no bid. And that's the AB.
Can we pick it up there or don't get a bid off?
That's right.
Okay.
And then on the cold mix, looks to me like it's 0.53 cubic yards per ton. Price per ton 147. Tax is 970, and total price per ton equals 156.70. That's it.
And that's a sole bid.
That's a sole bid.
Okay, it looks like I've got the last one, which is signposts. Several bidders. First one is from Interwest Safety Supply. We're looking at 2x2 signposts for $5.02, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, $5.88 per foot, 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, $6.80 per foot. Telspar anchor, 2 1/4 inch square by 30 feet, and that would be $15.60 per. And I don't. It seems low, but anyway, 2 1/4 square by 30 foot height. And then the perforated signpost, average price $833, tax $872, delivered per bundle of 50, $345, total of $354 dash, and for their numbers looks like a 05. That's Interwest. Next is from Zumar Industries, $617 per foot for 2x2, $642 per foot per 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch per foot, $708 per foot for 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 inch. Perforated telespar, 2 1/4 inch square, 30 foot height, $19.45. Their average price is $9.78. Taxes 89 cents, total of $10.67. Pacific Products, and they are located in Anthem, Arizona. Their cost for 2x2 12 gauge is $490 per square foot. 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 is $550 per square foot. 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 is $620 per square foot, and the Telspar 2 1/4 is $1590 per pole, and the average price is $8 and $8.125. The tax is 9.1%. Delivery is $700 for a total of $708.12. And our last bid, thank you, and I think we're done, is from Accessories Squared Southwest, Inc., and I don't have their address, but they're located in Auburn, Illinois. Their price per perforated signposts 2x2 is $514 per square foot. 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 is $577. 2 1/2 squared is $653. Telspar 2 1/4 squared is $14.36 each. Average price is $581, and this is says not including anchor. And the tax is 51.51, and the delivery is included in the price for a total of $6.32. So there's some differences in the way that the not including the post and the no fee for the delivery. That'll make it interesting for review. So I'll entertain a motion regarding these bids, not necessarily to award them or not to award them, but a motion to review and refer them to our staff.
Make a motion to turn over to staff for compliance and conformity for the lowest bidder.
Good motion.
And I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. With that, any other business, Manager Walker?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we can't adjourn the meeting because we are going to go into executive session, and this is to discuss the contract with the Gila Valley Samaritan Home, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll then come out of that meeting and adjourn. So thank you very much.
Yeah. That's not on, but.
We are out of our executive session, back into our regular board session, and no other items of business, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And I'll second that myself, and all in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.